Hey everybody, Mr. Moblin coming back at you with another APUSH video. This is our 5th video and final video in the series focusing in on topic 7.3. We've been recently talking about American foreign policy in the age of imperialism, from relations with Japan, the Spanish-American War, dollar diplomacy, moral diplomacy. In keeping with Woodrow Wilson, we're going to wrap up taking a look at American imperialism during this period with our neighbors to the south in Mexico. Now, unfortunately for Mexico, the 19-teens is going to be a decade defined with tremendous political instability. You're going to be seeing a number of revolutions, assassinations, things that are going to be defining the era. The decade starts off with Porfirio Diaz, as you see here pictured in the bottom right, as the longtime dictator of Mexico. But after decades of rule, he will finally be forced out of power, and a new government led by Francisco Madero will take hold. Much more liberal, much more open government, but Madero will have plenty of political enemies himself, and he will find himself assassinated. After that, we will see General Victoriano Huerta seize control, and when he does, he's going to be, a pretty rough character. Now, when Huerta is in control of Mexico, we're going to see the Wilson administration strongly come out against that regime. Now, part of the conflict that's going to emerge from this is something known as the Tampico incident, where 9 American sailors off the coast of Mexico at the town of Tampico will be detained. Detained on basically trumped-up charges. Now, after raising a stink, the Mexican government will release the 9 sailors, but the United States wanted not just the release of the sailors; they wanted a formal apology by the Mexican government. They wanted the American flag raised in honor of the United States, yada yada yada, and the Mexican government refused. And so this led to an even bigger stink, with the United States deciding to intervene to some degree with the with what's going on in Mexico. In fact, we'll see the city of Veracruz be taken over by U.S. troops. Now, in the process of this, we're going to see Huerta be overthrown, and we're going to see a battle over who will replace him between 2 characters known as Venustiano Carranza and another guy named Pancho Villa. Now, here's Carranza located here. He's got a nice looking beard. Carranza is kind of your what I would kind of describe as your, kind of white collar, wealthy, sophisticated kind of political leader. Nobody's, questioning his intelligence, and at the same time, nobody's, mistaking him as a tough guy. On the other side of the coin is Pancho Villa. Now, here's Pancho Villa in happier times next to American General John J. Pershing. Pancho Villa was really nothing short of just being a bandit. This guy was, a roughneck, and this was a guy that certainly appealed to the working class of Mexico. And so you see these 2 guys are going at it, vying for control. In the end, the Wilson administration is going to be siding with Carranza. Now, when this happens, Pancho Villa is not going to take too kindly to this. Following our refusal to support him in exchange for supporting his enemy, we're going to be seeing Pancho Villa and a number of his fellow banditos literally invade the United States. They will literally invade and attack the town of Columbus, New Mexico, killing upwards of 36 American citizens on American soil. So it's an invasion basically. Now, following the attack, Pancho Villa and his friends will run back into Mexico. But in many respects, this is almost akin to an act of war as far as the United States is concerned. But we don't formally declare war, but we do send American troops led by General Pershing, as you saw their picture there, into Mexico to try to find Pancho Villa. The problem, though, is that you might think, oh, Carranza likes this because we're going after his enemy. But in reality, Carranza doesn't like this either because we violated Mexican sovereignty. We've gone into Mexico without his permission to go in there and capture somebody just because we want them. So we've managed to tick off pretty much all of Mexico. And note, as American troops are running around Mexico trying to find Pancho Villa, they can't find him. He becomes almost a ghost. And note, tensions between the U.S. and Mexico are getting larger and larger and larger. In fact, we really are on the verge of formally declaring war with Mexico, but something even bigger intervenes. That's World War I. And as America is getting into that bigger conflict in Europe, we kind of put Pancho Villa on the back burner, and we eventually give up the search for Pancho Villa. Now, we never do find him. Now, Pancho Villa does get, killed himself by, other, Mexican rivals, but we never do find Pancho Villa ourselves. But it does show America's, as America becomes more imperialist, one of the negative side effects is that we're going to be seeing more strained relations with our Latin American neighbors to the south, mostly based on the idea that we're kind of asserting our own interests at the expense of recognizing the sovereignty and independence to some degree of many of these other nations. Okay? All right, we're going to leave it there for now. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.